Hey, 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 this is Christine, your DIY craftaholic. Welcome back to my awesome subscribers. If you are a visitor to my channel today, thank you for stopping by. After today, you're family, so please consider subscribing. Today I have 3 fall DIYs for you. So without further ado, let's jump into the video. For DIY number 1, I will be using this huge mason jar plaque that I picked up from the Dollar Tree, as well as a sheet from their 2022 calendar. Now, I didn't want to spoil the front too much, so I decided to work on the back. I removed the string and staples, then I sanded it down and used a piece of paper towel to remove the dust. I'm now tearing out the month of September, which has these beautiful fall leaves. So I'll be using that. And I then took a pencil to mimic the curve that's on the front, quote unquote, lid on the front, and place a piece of painter's tape to cover where I didn't want to paint. Here I am using some apple barrel white acrylic paint to paint the lid. Try to cover those holes after you remove the staples. I didn't do that. Sometimes I forget. So I use some spackle to just cover up those holes. And then I dry that with my heat gun for quick drying. Then I applied 1 coat of Mod Podge and quickly dry that again. I then removed the painter's tape and lay the paper down, making sure that the words are centered. You want to make sure you do that before you glue it down. And then just rub your fingers around the edge to mark just about where you want to cut. Here I'm using glue stick or stick glue, whichever you want to call. And when I was satisfied that I had enough glue on there, I'm now going to place it down, just making sure that I'm lining it up with the mark that I had made before I smooth that out. As you can see, some parts needed a little bit more glue, so I applied that. I then flipped it over and you're going to cut off the excess, leaving about 1/4 of an inch, and that's just to give you leverage if you need to lift the paper up and make adjustments. I then use a sanding block to rub along the edges to remove that excess paper. So now we're ready to decorate, which is always the fun part, isn't it? So I took some burlap trim. This I got from the Dollar Tree, as well as some black and white gingham ribbon. I got this from Amazon. I couldn't decide which ribbon to use for this side, but I think the black and white ribbon spoke for itself. So I cut off what was needed for the area and then glued that on with some hot glue, just making sure that I tuck under the edges so it doesn't fray. I then selected 3 maple leaves, which I got from the Dollar Tree, red, yellow, and green. And then I glued them in the center, made a small bow, and tapered the ends of the bow, sealed that with some hot glue, and then glued that on. Now it's time to show some love to the other side. Because this side was, in my mind, basically okay as it is. I just wanted to jazz it up just a little bit. So I added a strip of that burlap trim across the top, just like I did for the other side. I then made a bow and added half of a wooden bead in the center, and that's it. Now for hanging, I measured how long I wanted the string to be and twirled 2 pieces of twine for fullness. Then I glued that on both sides and we're done. This video is a part of the Heidi Sonboul's DIY Fall Challenge. So after you get done watching my video, head on down to the description box below and you will find a link to the playlist that contains all the videos in this challenge. There's also a link to Heidi's channel where she has a ton of amazing videos. Now for DIY number 2, these are the items you'll need as you see in the corner. You're going to take your roll of toilet paper and just unreel some of it. When you think you have enough, just kind of wrap it back around onto the roll and tuck in the end. And this just gives it a little fullness. Then you're going to take one corner of your fabric and you're going to tuck that in. Pick up the section close to that end and kind of form pleats as you're tucking them in. And you would do that until you have tucked in everything. And there you have it. And I made 3 of these. Now for the stems, I'm using pine cones. I have a pine cone tree just outside my front door, and these I just picked up off the ground and washed them off. I then gather some leaves from some flowers I had, and we are done. Now for DIY number 3, here I am using wooden beads. I don't remember what size these are. I'll be using 3 sets of 8. So I placed those on some bamboo skewers from the Dollar Tree in order to paint them. Then I painted them using white, orange, and teal acrylic paint and set those aside to dry. So here they are all dried. Now I'll be making tassels from jute twine. I'm using this piece of foam board. I had wrapped the twine around it, but this is optional. You can use anything wrap your twine around, even your hand. So I wrapped it around 20 times, I believe. After that, I slipped it off and wrapped a piece of the twine about 1 inch down from the top, and then slit the bottom open and trim those off. And here I have 2 for both ends of the garland. Now it's time to string the beads. I use a piece of tape at the end of the twine to make it easy to string the beads. And this is how I'm stringing the beads. I'm using a teal, white, and then orange. And I did that until I was all done. Now for decorative purposes, I added 2 small circle wooden beads at both ends and then attach the tassels. And we're done. So there you have it, guys. Let me know in the comments below which of these 3 DIYs was your favorite. If you like content like this, please consider subscribing to my channel by hitting that subscription button and that notification bell so YouTube notifies you whenever I upload a new video. And to keep watching, I recommend this video right here as well as this playlist. And stay safe until next time. Bye.